Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 162, Casual Conversations 80. You know how we do on this one, we got our current events and our talking points, we have relevant and random stories, and I watched a podcast that I liked and thought was interesting. It was Chris Tarbell on Lex Friedman number 340. As always, I'm your host, Bradley Bowes. I'm being profoundly and extensively tortured. There is nothing I can do, there is nowhere I can go, and there is no one I can call. My constitutional rights are violated so profoundly that I cannot start a career or a family, and there's absolutely no potential for that to ever change. People cannot change their behavior, and they get offended by facts, and then they fucking scapegoat Brad, and Brad's life is fucking over. So, you know, we'll just keep giving you more free shit, more free property for you to steal while I get harassed, disrespected, denigrated every 2 minutes. And so, speaking of which, we'll open up with a nice story today. So again, I told you about my back. It's been terrible. I've been documenting it forever. I told you my debit card got stolen. And so I haven't been at the gym for a month or two just because of my back. And it says my past payments because my credit card got stolen. Right after the first payment doesn't go through, they call you 2 to 3 times. Again, LA Fitness or Esporta, whoever the management company is, just fuck you people. Just dirty fucking people. But, so again, I just hadn't been into the gym because of an actual back injury. And in their terms of services, they say if you have an actual injury, you don't have to pay the thing. And I told their front desk people that shit. And then, of course, they don't write it down. Some bitch making minimum wage can't listen for 2 seconds. I'm not kidding you. When I walked into the Esporta Fitness on Reynoldsburg or Broad Street, I'm not kidding you. And I'm not like a person where it's like, if I was a business owner, business operator, you know, I had a front desk, like everyone, you have to greet every single patron that comes in with like some sort of cheesy greeting. But I'm not kidding you, not one time did the front desk person ever look up at me. They just staring at their phone the entire time, every time I ever seen them gone in there. So decent gym, better than I thought it was. I thought it was a little cleaner than the one at Hamilton Road. But want to cancel my membership, called them up, and the front desk chick that I talked to says, I say, hey, you know, if I want to formally cancel my membership, you know, gave a month or 2 for my back, didn't do any good. And so I talked to the chick, she's like, yep, takes out my phone number, my email address, says no problem, my manager will cancel it or whatever. So it says nothing about having to come in person. And then I get a call back from this dude, his name is Jordan George. And just right at the beginning, or right off the bat, he's just rude and arrogant. Again, at this point, I've not raised my voice. This is part 162, this stuff happens just every time I deal with anybody, and people know anything about me. And so, I've not raised my voice, I just tried to cancel membership as far as I'm aware that it's going through fine. Again, I told them about my back thing, they didn't write that down on my case file, and it's not my problem. And the outstanding balance is $50 or $80, I don't fucking care. It's just against your terms of services. And then Jordan George starts being extremely disrespectful. So he calls me back and he's like, well, I can't do anything over the phone. I'm like, well, your employee said you could this morning, and I have a bad back, so I don't know why. And then you can tell right when he said that, and again, I told the front desk chick when she called me this time, and then I told the front desk chick that, when my first payment didn't go through, a month or 2 ago, and then I got 3 calls in, I told them that then, I'd change it in there if I could ever get in there, my debit card's stolen, I have a bad back, so I haven't been in the gym. They don't write that down, it's not my problem. And so, Jordan George is he just gets this lip again instantly. And I'm not raising my voice, I'm not being rude or mean. He gets offended, and then he's going to exert any authority over me that he fucking can. And he's fucking worthless. And so, a 1,000 times, you just go to your, again, just being the snottiest, rudiest fucking cunt ever. And Jordan George, you're a worthless piece of shit. You work at a fucking gym. Go swim with alligators. If you can't contribute to this society past being a manager at a gym, the world doesn't need your life. It doesn't. You are irrelevant fucking trash. And so, he's just sitting there, go to your home club, Hamilton Road, go to your home club, Hamilton Road. That's clear, he fucked up, he knows it, and he's not gonna do anything besides tell me to go fuck myself. And then so he just hangs up on me. That is the superpower of the pathetic person, just clicking on the phone. I'm the highest ranking judge by merit that has ever occurred on this fucking planet. You disrespect me for no fucking reason, direct violation of a legal contract. You are fucked. Esporta Fitness, LA Fitness, you are fucked. Jordan George, you are fucked. And so don't let that piece of shit ever into the thing, in any part of society. Don't let him sit down at restaurants. Don't let his kids go to fucking school. Don't treat him with respect. Do not let him do anything besides snort heroin under a bridge until he fucking offs himself.
The statement of education. People do not know how to behave, and they're going to spread that shitty behavior to other people. That is what is occurring. The first option is to change your behavior. The second option is to mock them until they disappear. And so, that was an epic attempt to cancel my gym membership. So again, I keep calling back. I called him like 5 times. You can tell he's just letting it ring. And I'm just talking into the phone, clearly knowing that he's listening. George Jordan, please pick up the phone. I would like to cancel my membership. George Jordan, please pick up the phone. I'd like to cancel my membership. Finally picks up the phone, says, what can I do for you? And then he's like, I'll recycle, so it's only $50. Again, I don't care if it's $50 or $80. You mock me, you disrespect me, you violate your terms of services. That's the biggest thing. It's like I didn't do anything. I never do anything. When Sergeant Robbins harasses me at my home, and then 1 minute later, a fucking federal person walks by and says, it's not you, it's just some random officer, well, make those phone calls. Make all of those phone calls. I am telling you to do something. I am being tortured because you guys cannot enforce the fucking law every time I have to deal with one of your trashy fucking children. Every single time. If you don't want me to talk about your children, don't have them. Or raise them. That's always option 1, is to actually educate people to behave like fucking functioning members of society before they're 45. If ever. And so, yep, absolutely suing LA Fitness and eSport of Fitness and Jordan George. So the funny part of the story is, you might check out my attire here. This is for a couple reasons. There's been I was at work the other day, and my shift manager, Andre Bing, he's like, you know what, Brad, you can head home today. I was like, okay, so I headed home. And turns out, wow, Andre just lost it, man. He started shooting up all the employees at Walmart. I was having my night shift at Walmart. And so Andre's like, head on home, man. I was like, I don't know what that's for. And the bang just murked everybody. So, I just got off my shift today, so I didn't know if the new manager was going to, also pull an Andre Bird or something, Bing or something. So, those 223s are flying, those 556s and the switches. Gotta be prepared when you're going to Walmart as an employee this time. Not even just shoppers. You might be in the break room and Andre might be coming back. Whoa. Honestly, do mass shooters create jobs? It's like job creation. It's like 6 new shifts open up at Walmart. Why is that? Well, Andre killed everybody. So is that like job creation? Obviously terrible. It just says like a comedian is like, is he creating jobs? Oh. But obviously atrocious. So we have another one. Multiple fatalities and injuries reported in a shooting at Virginia Walmart. 7 dead, including the shooter. It was suicide. There was a disgruntled employee manager in the break room. They found a note on him saying just how much he hates his fellow colleagues. Again, just toxicity, transferring to toxicity, and then some absolute animal with no behavior to act like a human being just says I'm going to resort to violence. Again, we kicked off my book club. And again, the first thing it says in the Bible is there was a lot of violence, and then someone came along and taught people how to behave. That's literally what it says. Literally directly. And it says qubits. Just fucking hilarious. People over their quantum computers like, qubits. And it's just like, you're going to recycle the same nonsense. Word salad's a real fucking thing. And they just keep doing it. So, back to the gym. So this was the main reason. There was a couple shifts open up at Walmart, so I did my bulletproof vest. But as I was leaving a negative review for eSport of Fitness on Brownsburg Road, I found this other lovely review, which I thought was absolutely funny. Just fucking funny. And so, let me find this. It says, this was, again, I moved into this house, again, end of July, went to this gym, for 6 months or so. And it says, this is a review from Robert Thiessen, and he's a local guide. And he says, gym is nice enough, but safety is getting to be a real issue. There are lots of issues with equipment being broken for months on end. Fights that start on the basketball court spill out to the gym floor, and now there has been a shootout in the parking lot because they ignore the problem. Several of my friends' cars now have bullet holes. So that's fun. There's a local shootout at the gym I've been going to, and that was 10 months ago. That's fun. So that's I was going to leave my review, and I see that review. I was like, oh, we're doing a little shootout. We got those 223s in the fucking parking lot, guys. So we got the F-bands, we got the SIGs, we got the 9s, we got the 45s, we got the 38s. That's a good exercise. I'm gonna do some bench press. Then we're gonna do some duck and dodge, motherfucker. So shout out to eSporta. But yeah, my review is this. Decent gym with horribly arrogant staff. How Jordan George is employed is beyond me. He mocked me for trying to cancel my membership because of a back injury and refused to help me. Told me to contact Hamilton Road location and refused to answer the phone until I called 5 times. A direct violation of their own terms and services and tiptoeing with a lawsuit. No, it's a lawsuit. Fuck you. If I was East Florida management, I'd fire Jordan today. Yeah. So fuck that guy. So that's and I exist, I interact, and then my local gym that has a shootout once a week, they won't let me cancel a membership. So that was fun. Sean Carroll also blocks me on Twitter. What a cesspool garbage filth. Remember, he steals every email that I ever send him. You're not my special friends. It's not David, Brad, Mark, and Sean in an email thread. I have nowhere to publish science ever because you guys do not respect your own laws. You start wars, you facilitate killing people, and you say, not my fucking responsibility, because you're just so selfish. And then I've given you my direct handle, my direct face, I've told you it is me, in a legal lawsuit, you are blocking me. These lectures, my emails, standing outside and lecturing, every minute of every day, it's all the same caliber of research. So when I tell you you're doing something stupid on Twitter, I'm not throttling you, Eric Weinstein or Sean Carroll. I'm not trolling you. I'm telling you how to behave, and you guys are lying and thieves. You are criminals. You are committing active crimes. Just because the federal government say, well, you have to commit federal crimes because we can't admit UFOs and aliens are real, even though I have 30 different people confirming it to me on record. There's not a venue to show it. Well, then we're just going to block you on Twitter and piss you off fucking more. Again, Eric Weinstein, Sean Carroll, David Eisenbuck, Mark Cuban, every single person referenced in this lecture series, I do not want them to be able to walk into a restaurant and get a fucking meal handed to them. I can't eat properly today. They don't deserve to eat ever. They objectively don't do anything to help anybody. They are slowing down science today. When you do not let me be who I am, you are slowing down the progress of this species' education for real. That is your legacy. That is your only legacy. And every day that passes, you are catching more fucking cases. So fuck Sean Carroll more than fucking anything. Fuck Eric Weinstein more than anything. Get a little bit offended and then go back to your privileged life as you steal my fucking research and I have the right to defend my property and my life with deadly force. But hey, are there any actual laws? Are there any actual rules? Are there actual morals? Are there decence? Is there any people that knows how to fucking behave? No. There are horny animals that know how to compete and play games. And they might know how to care about their own 5-person family, maybe. And maybe their 5-friend group, maybe. When they've never had to make real decisions in their entire lives, they just get a fucking life handed to them on a silver fucking platter. Fucking disgusting. Unfollow him, don't support his research, don't support his books. Everything he's written hasn't been citing me, which is theft of intellectual property. And again, it's my life's research, it's my life. It's fuck the research, it is my life that I don't get to live because those people don't behave. They get slightly offended and block me on Twitter. Can't block a subpoena, well I guess unless you're Mike DeWine and sign off on saying, Brad doesn't have access to court, we're just gonna steal all this shit. But hey, and then my neighbor at HQ Flats is like, come on man, don't talk about other kids. You're teaching your kids to be thieves at the highest caliber ever. And they can have families and careers while I don't. This doesn't seem fair to me. This doesn't seem nice. It doesn't seem legal. And it isn't. Right, Prashant? It isn't legal. But hey, we can do basically whatever we want. Right, fat fucking HQ Flats, bottom to the left. Moving on. A couple economics points, still not enough. Again, I should have done an economics video by now, but who cares? Don't give a fuck. FTX took in $10 billion of user funds at a $32 billion valuation. Caroline, the very attractive girlfriend of Sam Bankman-Fried, says, life off amphetamines seem rather dull. And parents of Sam Bankman-Fried bought, I believe, about $114 million worth of land in the Bahamas. So another huge fraudulent case of petulant child gets some money, absolute pathetic, worthless fuck. Listen to that man try to speak. Most pathetic fat fuck ever. His nasty looking girlfriend's over there like, yeah, and life off of amphetamines seems rather dull. And again, drop the amphetamines and do that same thing with LSD or with mushrooms. That is what microdosing is. Again, there's no real novelty to drug effects. There's negative drug effects with things proliferating on vital organs, but the experience of being intoxicated or under the influence of something is pretty just, again, not feeling speciality, not feeling the overwhelming weight of insecurity being pounded onto you by everyone in the society because nobody knows how to fucking behave. And if the entire society would change, that expectation would leave. That anxiety would leave the entire fucking species if people knew how to behave. They don't and they can't. And so that's why life off amphetamine seems rather dull, because there's just a bunch of groaning, moaning animals that can't fucking behave. But obviously that's a bunch of fraud going on here. Looks like extreme super fraud. Again, I just $10 billion a user fund at $32 billion valuation, you over leverage yourself and go file for bankruptcy and just get fucked. Just fuck you. Amazon Alexa is a colossal failure, on pace to lose $10 billion this year. Really not surprising to me. It doesn't solve anything. I don't need to say, hey Alexa, turn on the lights. I can just flip the light switch on. So I don't see. Again, I've never used Amazon Alexa or anything equivalent. That I don't see any sort of real efficiency or improvement or innovation to have an algorithm turn on a light or turn on this or turn on that by saying it vocally out loud as opposed to doing it without vocal commands. So that doesn't really surprise me. Obviously, I wouldn't make any sort of investment advice on Amazon based off one product. Avatar: Way of the Water needs $2 billion in box office revenue to turn a profit. Looked like it obviously looked very expensive for production. Looks pretty good. A couple more trailers have come out. Said I made it out into the theaters for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I'll probably, if I do see Way of the Water, it'll definitely be in theaters because it's 3 hours and 10 minutes. But I'll probably see that one, and I'll probably see The Violent Night. That one just seems kind of like a raunchy kind of fuck around film that I don't know, seems interesting enough to want to go to the theaters to watch it. So I will be contributing to the $2 billion in box office revenue needed to turn a profit. We'll see how it does. Alabama is pausing executions after third failed lethal injection since 2018. From what I read, it seems like they're failing to find a vein. And I saw something in Switzerland, like a nitrogen gas chamber or an opioid. Is just what's the most humane way to enact the death penalty? I think the nitrogen gas or opioid. Like if I had to die for doing a crime, I'd just say, just give me the Kurt Cobain level of heroin. Just shoot me up with that shit. And so I don't really, when you failing to kill somebody as like a state mandated thing, that's a huge fuck up. So yeah, failing to find a vein. Again, I don't know what drug cocktail they used to kill you or whatever, but just whatever's the most efficient. You shouldn't be fucking up executions. I don't see why nitrogen gas replacement or heroic doses of opioids wouldn't just be humane as well. Alcohol consumption in the U.S. was almost 300% higher in the 1800s. Whiskey was cheaper than beer, coffee, or milk. So again, behaviors consolidating over the entire species over every action. And so now it's like, Andrew Huberman's like, maybe one drink a week. It's like, again, it's just tolerance. If I didn't drink any beer and then I drank 4 beers, I would have a headache tomorrow. Like if I took a week off of drinking any alcohol, and I drank 4 beers, I would have a headache tomorrow. If you drink the same amount of alcohol, you're not going to have a headache. And so, and it's just how much of the metabolite is in your bloodstream to metabolize the alcohol. And so again, we have in the 1910s it's like 10 beers a day. Now it's like 1. In the 1800s it's 300% higher. Everyone wasn't so fat. But again, the real thing is, again, like I said, I have basically found the most moderating things you can do all day because I'm not allowed to socialize to any capacity whatsoever. The converse is everybody else is socialized or integrated into society to a fact where it's like I said, they blacked out at college and they think, 10 beers a day or 15 beers a day is like a ton of alcohol because I would give them hungover or blacked out at college. When in reality, if I'm just casually sipping beers, or if somebody who's retired and doesn't have anything to do all fucking day, just casually sipping beers, it's like, you're never like getting a huge spike of alcohol in your bloodstream at all. Again, like after 2 or 3 beers, I'm not gonna get behind a car and drive anything. But it's not like I'm slurring my words or stumbling or anything like that. And so the vast majority of people being, adverse to Andrew Huberman types is really just, again, they haven't moderated their life. They have things to do. They have responsibilities like go teach in here, and go fly here, and go do this here. So they simply don't have, and again, I consider alcohol neutral to a slight risk. It's not like there's no risk, everything has some risk, but mostly biologically neutral with slight risk. And the people who want to have extreme values, extreme morals, and be biologists and be medical doctors, they've just never sat around all day and done nothing. And said without any like, again, problems in their own life, I need to go do this, I need to go do that, I need to chase this career, I just sit here all day, I like to do education, and I like to feel good. Whatever that is, without any sort of like addictive personality with anything. And that is again moderated to, again, my diet hasn't changed again except for breakfast because I'm being tortured. Don't have an appetite in the morning. I still eat my protein shake, but I'd be eating 2 solid meals a day and then casually sipping the alcohol. And so that's really, but again, reflecting in the 1800s being way higher now, it's like, well, before then they didn't even have, like, there wasn't the
FDA, there wasn't like bureaucracies regulating health just at any point in human history. It's a relatively new thing. So people going off intuition or just experience of how they feel, if this is good or this is bad for their own body, that's really how people maintain health at any point pre, FDA, CDC, whatever. And now at the species level, everyone has no value, but everyone else tell people how to behave, and while the other group of people don't want to be told anything, and it's just like you can't do anything. I can't sell CBD-enriched alcohol, which is absolutely oxidation, stress from alcohol, metabolization. CBD limits oxidation more powerfully than vitamin E. Put antioxidant and things less oxidation, better thing. But the FDA is not sure. Even though we've had it tested at the TTB and it is passed their test, and it, by any empirical measure whatsoever, it is demonstrably medicine 60, 70, 80 years ago. So yep, thank you to our service members like Dr. Fauci, who I believe gave his last public service address. Yes, as a great public servant. Again, he is the science, and the resistance is Anthony Fauci's lies, or he's pushing for big pharma, or more illiteracy tied in with economics, telling us to take vaccines, and everyone's just illiterate. Yeah, but personally, like I said, I just go for not the cheapest beer, but just the cheapest 24-pack to 30-pack. And so I bought a Busch. I was typically drinking Busch Lights, and then I bought a just regular Busch case, the amount of alcohol that I could tolerate and get feeling that same healthy state was probably about 8 beers. And so literally the sensation of feeling full is something again that I cannot achieve because of social isolation, regardless of consuming anything. And so simply switching which type of alcohol, like a Busch Light to Busch, just having more calories, being fuller, and like literally fuller in my stomach, has me to drink less beers. So when I see Andrew Huberman say like, how much beer drinks do you need to feel happy? It's just like, red, blue, squared, yellow alcohol. Like, where are you coming from? Oh, he's the dude that he can either do this extremely, really, really extreme, or he can't do anything at all. Just like the vast majority of people who don't know how to behave. So, but again, alcohol consumption being 300% higher in the 1800s is reflective of people moderating their behavior. And then insecurity and speciality. Do this, do that. Differentiate for sexual antagonism. Go get a job. Differentiate your skill sets. And then they have no values and don't know how to behave. And then it's reflective in all the data, and people just can't interpret it, and they deny facts. So they do not let Brad socialize in species whatsoever. So Club Q Shooter had made violent threats in the past. Is non-binary. Is that a defense or self-hatred? And again, I was thinking a cranked off Republican, but again, all hatred crimes are self-hatred crimes. And so if it was Republican, it's like, I hate that dude. Or if he is actually non-binary, I don't give a fuck about your pronouns. Dude is fat fucking trash. Just fat, nasty fuck. But if you walk into a room of people and murder somebody and you give a fuck about your pronouns, you should be put down just for that. Honestly. Jesus Christ. But it could be trying to build a defense or sympathy, but I don't know, if you generate one piece of sympathy from a juror for saying you're non-binary after you just murdered a bunch of people, they should throw that juror in jail too. But his porn star, extremely illiterate, methed out dad has relieved his son isn't gay. Whew. He just wiped off 6 people off the planet for no fucking reason, injured about 15 more. At least he's not sucking dicks. At least he's not sucking dicks. That's good parenting. Because go watch this dad try to speak. He's just like, a meth head porn star. I mean, not against sex work, but just cranked off fucking illiterate trash. Well, I'm a morbid, I'm a conservative Republican. At least my kid's not a fag. Okay, good parenting, man. Good one. But yeah, he said like made violent threats about like blowing up his mom with a homemade bomb. And cops like visit his house after like violent threats and not take his guns away. But I'm over here and I can't defend my own fucking house because I smoke weed. Does the conservative boys in blue law enforcement team, judges, and anybody in law enforcement land care? No. Does anybody have any values? Fuck no. So that's what's going on here. Again, the same thing every single fucking day. Moving on. So, what's in my headphones? Another section I'm enjoying doing. City in Color. This is a band Main singer's name is Dallas Green. The band's called City and Color. The song is called Wasted, that's an old one. It's called Meant to Be. But it's definitely a shout out to Dallas Green and City and Color. This band, I really like slow songs. Typically, I don't say typically, but a lot of times don't do much for me. This band always fucking hits. He hasn't really dropped much in a long time. He had A Pill for Loneliness in 2019. I don't think I listened to that much. I think I listened to it some. But The Hurry and the Harm from 2013, absolute fucking flames. Little Hell from 2011, flames. Sometimes 2005, flames. And Meant to Be, I thought was really good. But it's really good melancholy music. Just like a singer-songwriter type. But Coming Home, absolute flames. Meant to Be. Little Hell, like the actual song Little Hell on the album Little Hell, flames. But just very, very good vocalist, singer-songwriter, great for melancholy. If you're just in a mood to feel kind of sad or just kind of reflect or whatever, I really like this guy in this band. Other things that's hitting the rotations, starting to hit the rotations heavy, is Bad Omens. Another kind of like screamo metalcore rock band with a couple tracks and like a little electric kind of flair to it. Which again, I'm not really big into electric music at all, but a couple electronic type beats or whatever, at least kind of tonality to a rock band or to a metal piece I like. So Bad Omens, The Death of Peace of Mind. Listen to the whole album. The ones that Just Pretend definitely stuck out as a really good one, Like a Villain. The 4 on their top discography. But the album was released in early 2022, I believe. Yeah, February 25th, 2022. So Bad Omens, Death of Peace of Mind, and City and Color. Those are my 2 band recommendations for today. And I did check out, I am a Swiftie. I checked out Taylor Swift's new album a little bit. I probably listened to 5-6 songs. Liked them all. And I like pop music. Just haven't had anything that's really, really going off for me. But I like Taylor Swift's album, the piece that I listened to. And so I think it was called Midnights. My Thanksgiving in the Macy's Day Parade. What will I eat? It's gonna do a turkey. It's gonna fire up the turkey. But it was like $28 and it's just me. So it's like, that's a lot of food. That's a lot of food for just Brad. I'm over here living on literally the poverty line. It's like, getting anything over $20 at a grocery store. Whew, that is definitely not on the menu. So I went with salmon. I had a salmon and some baked potato. Or I had a baked potato and a salmon. So that's what I had for Thanksgiving. By myself, sweet, no fucking friends. That's what I like. Perfect. Or family of my own. Which is perfect. Love it. But the Macy's Day Parade, do I really watch it? Nah. Have I ever really watched it? Nah. I like parades, I guess. Just, I don't know. I watch a couple floats and after that, I don't really care. So, that's what I did for Thanksgiving. So I kind of did nothing. Well, I read books. I did my book club. I kept working. My mom gave me a call yesterday. And she's like, what are you doing? Working. And she's like, pauses, like, what do you mean working? It's like, this is all I do, this is work. Researching all day at the highest caliber fucking ever, getting paid nothing, it's work. It's working. Why are you still working, Adam, my own neighbor? Because no one pays me fucking dick, and I fucking hate myself, and I have no friends or fucking family. My life is fucking terrible. So I'd like to change. If I do nothing, nothing will change. If I do something, still nothing will change because no one behaves. So sorry for trying. Sorry for putting myself into this fucking world where there's no potential to live a fucking life. And I'll be out there, obviously, no Tinder matches. Fuck no. There's no chance for me to date unless I'm allowed to socialize. And I'm not allowed to socialize because people cannot change their behavior because they cannot accept historical facts. They have to lie about history because they cannot accept what the fuck has occurred. And they just keep torturing me. And I'm going to be tortured until I'm fucking dead. Sweet. So I'd like to check in with final talking point as I watched the whole podcast with Chris Tarbell on Lex Friedman, number 340. He was the wonderful FBI agent that took down Ross Ulbricht, Robert, the dude from the original Silk Road. And again, I was on Silk Road 2 was my first one as a buyer. Dream and Agora marketplaces were the ones that were really big for me. That's over like fucking Amazon. I only sold on there for about two weeks to a month. Made a good little chunk of change and said, cool, Ben, I'm just going to chill out here and do nothing. And then, But I watched the whole conversation, just wrote down anything that jumped out to me. But he says Ross Ulbricht left a Gmail address with his real name, LOL. And he says, and as Chris says, that's a clue in his world. It's like, yeah, most people are just fucking stupid. Or they watch crime shows and think it's some sophisticated thing. If you know what you're doing, you cover your fucking tracks, you don't tell anybody. That's the biggest thing, is don't tell anybody. And again, at my maturity level, like, people have like the urge to gossip. And this has been true my entire life. My old worthless fucking friend Tim Dune could attest to that. It's like people just tell me things, particularly in high school, like girls. They would just like talk to me. And again, not like their guy best friend. I was never I was always in the friend zone, but never like the best friend, like the pussy dude over here kind of guy. I don't tell people other people's shit. And so they would just tell me stuff. And so that transfers really, really well to the criminal lifestyle. If you just don't have the urge to tell people anything, most criminals just get sloppy. It's like law enforcement. It's like a lot of people that has never done a crime ever. They're just like thinking like the minute you do a crime, the feds are at your door the next minute. Like, yep, you're arrested, bad guy. And it's just like, it's not how it works. You have to understand social engineering a good amount. Like I told you, my thing was like sell shit that I know damn well. Again, honeypotted. Chris says nobody would, like, the FBI wouldn't let them run a site that big. But I mean by like sellers, like setting up accounts to take down data like that. But yeah, if you just don't tell anybody, but then the social engineering again of selling something that is cannabis should be legal and prescribed yesterday, as the scientist judged and everything on the legal aspects. But then as a criminal, it's just like people still have to like make priorities. And I remember like when I first bought like a quarter pound of weed, my roommate's like, they're gonna show up at your fucking door. And it's like, they could, but over weed and on the first package or two packages, nah. And then I moved to PO boxes just for safety. Well, not even for safety, more so because in Ohio, you know, if you have over this amount, I think it was like 100 grams at a time, and quarter pounds of 112 grams, was that it went from under 100 grams, I believe in Ohio, was a minor misdemeanor. And so I just have 3 PO boxes where I'd never have more than like, you know, the 100 grams or 200 grams. I would go up to a quarter pound at a time, but try to keep it into the minor misdemeanor level of criminality, and just have different packages where, again, if you don't open the package, you have probable deniability. As long as you don't sign for it, and then just distribute like that, and just have that shit on cycle. And so that was when I was selling at like more of like just the regular drug dealer at college. And then when I went to Colorado, just met people who've been lifetime growers. Just like, hey, do you accept some Bitcoins for some PECs? And they're like, yep, cool beans, I'll do that for a couple weeks. Like, whoa, that sells pretty well. So certainly a conversation that was interesting to me. But seeing Ross Gilbert left a Gmail address with his real name. He's like the Dread Pirate Roberts, like the head Silk Road dude. It's this like sloppy shit, bro. Lex Friedman says, when something goes wrong in the country, I want to help. Really? You have 2 million plus YouTube subscribers. My life is fucking destroyed, and 2 million Americans would die this year because doctors won't say take cannabis. And they won't say take cannabis because they have a license from a state. And the license from the state says cannabis is a medicine. And that state steals from me. And it is medicine. So do your job. Do what is right and help people. But hey, yeah, you want to help. And then in your last podcast, he's like, well, maybe we should have done something. And clearly thinking about me. Right, Key and her husband who gets all freaked out? Put me in a room with people and I'll do this with everybody and everybody's thoughts. All of them. Bring the aliens too. Right, people from Grafton Park on record when I said they can check out all the FBI agents or check out all the histories of where every one of your agents came from. And they say, we already know that. And I say, they walk like us. And they say, we already know that. So Chris Starbell says, a lot of stuff is out of his pay grade. I want to talk about the people on that pay grade. That fat fuck to the bottom left at HQ Flats that says we can basically do whatever we want. I want to talk to that pay grade people. I teach your kids. So, it is what it is. We don't catch the good ones, just the low-hanging fruit. Chris Tarbell. Yeah, it sounds like Dread Pirate Robert was kind of low-hanging fruit. But he said the total sales of the Silk Road Original is about $1.2 billion in total revenue. Kind of interesting. I certainly think it's way higher across all of the websites. And again, those are just the major exchanges. Like I never had, because again, when I was selling, like it was just such a brief thing. And when I was buying, it was a regular enough like the exchanges worked well. But there's also a ton of people out there that you just make a personal connection over the internet, and then you just drug deal like without like off the like you get an email address or you get a Proton Mail account or an encrypted email address. So I'm sure there's a lot of obviously a lot of sales that don't get tallied up in exchange. But he also says again, depending on the fluctuation of the Bitcoin price, it's kind of hard to get a hard notes. But then he says, Chris Tarbell says, never record yourselves doing bad things. Talking about teaching his kids and being in the age of cameras. Chris, why not teach them to just not do bad things at all? Why teach them not to do film doing bad things? Oh, because you're the FBI agent, you're the good guy, you're the good guy, but you're still a human being that has tendencies. So you know that you might be a teenage boy sometimes, you might be in high school sometimes and not want to get recorded. So just don't record yourself doing bad things. Don't do bad things at all. Our lovely FBI agents. He loves all his boys and girls in blue and our hardworking teams. And I call the fucking Cincinnati office and I just tell them to go fuck themselves. Oh, another funny fact from the Jordan George, the East Sporta story. So I literally went into the physical location to try to close it again after this conversations. The front desk lady was there, again, younger chick. I don't know, probably late teens, early 20s. Couldn't really tell. But it was funny. So I got a customer service number, so I was like, I don't want to deal with Jordan George anymore. And so, and that was after. He's like, I'll cut down you can tell, his manager, his boss, heard something when after I called him 5 times and he picks up the fucking phone, he's trying to be like polite now. Because again, I'm a nobody, and then they get a backdoor conversation, and then I'm a somebody, but they still won't acknowledge me, and I don't give a fuck. From $30,000 a year teachers to the world governments, I don't give a fuck. Treason is capital punishment. Conspiracy, fraud, racketeering, anything substantial, as much time as I can fucking give you, and I'm gonna take every penny you've ever fucking made while stealing from me. So, but I go into the actual location, and she was like, she gave me the customer service numbers for like client disputes or whatever, account disputes, and she says, and it literally made me chuckle. She was literally like, my advice for you is to be strict and don't back down. And I literally like visibly smiled. I'm over here like, yeah, you should see what I say to federal agents to their fucking face. And you want me to back down from East Sporta customer service? Thank you for the advice. I'll stay strong against East Sporta customer service. As I'm over here demanding capital punishment for fucking treason, as Congress is passing legislation to cover their fucking asses. But there's no laws anyway. There's no fucking laws. What fucking law? The Constitution? That piece of fucking shit? Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 7 still doesn't exist. As long as we don't want to, we can't change your behavior because of historical implications. Oh well, I'm going to read the Bible, every syllable ever thought in it, and you guys want to do a Bible study, you're just going to, again, cite me, motherfuckers. Steal my shit, lie about it, start a bunch of fucking wars, and raise your fucking family and call yourselves good people. Thank you for your service, Chris Tarbell. But Ross Ulbricht was sentenced to 2 life sentences and 40 years. Only way out is a presidential pardon. Would I pardon Ross Ulbricht? Again, absolutely legalize all fucking drugs. Anything that isn't absolutely directly inciting violence, I'm absolutely for. But he says in the conversation, he talks about like Ross was trying to send hits, and that's pussy shit. Do shit yourself, Ross, buddy boy. But he's like over there, like from simply the drug aspect. If it was simply drugs in free marketplace, I would pardon him, yes. For trying to send hits. Again, once you step over into like the violence, commanding violence, ordering violence, and I think he was like charged as a czar or whatever, like having employees and stuff. But would I pardon Ross Ulbricht if it was simply on the drugs and stuff? Absolutely, without a fucking question. The murders didn't go through, which was kind of, I literally have saying the word murder with no death, attempted murder versus murder for Mr. Tarbell, our wonderful FBI agent. Let me give you a little lesson in law, right? If you said, hey man, go kill this person, I'll give you money, and they even try to do it, or they fail, or it doesn't happen, it's called attempted murder. It's not called murder anymore. My God. But again, do we use words that have meaning? No. We just blurt out insecurities and use acronyms because of word salad in context. But the presidential pardon for Ross Ulbricht, yes or no? If he showed remorse and was not going to send any more fucking hits and he didn't actually catch fucking bodies, then I would probably pardon him. If it was simply for the drugs in free marketplace, absolutely. I just don't know intimately what Ross Ulbricht was doing personally. Because again, I have no respect for insecure behavior or reckless behavior amongst criminals. So again, there's no difference whether it's a law person or it's a fucking drug dealer. If you don't know how to behave in a consistent manner and revert to primitive behaviors, and I'm the most mature person ever, you better keep your fucking distance. And then pay me my money, and I'm going to buy a nice estate and not deal with your trashy children anymore. That's what I want to occur. But nope, I'm not allowed to collect my property because there are no fucking laws. So, Chris Tarbell says, I don't want to raise children in a world where drugs are available. Well, you live in a world where biology is available. And wherever there's demand, there's going to be a black market. And this wasn't like Chris Tarbell, in all things considered, seemed like a very reasonable fucking loser, a police officer, or law enforcement dude, but it didn't seem like super. He says he's America all the way, but it didn't strike me as like overtly extreme in any capacity. He's a fat little bitch, though. He's a little chunky little guy, a little fat fuck. But your children are going to have biological urges. They are going to be curious. They're going to explore. You want to educate them, and you want to teach them how to behave safely. That is what you want to do, saying, I don't want to raise children in a world where there's drugs. Guess what? There are drugs in this world. That is true. That is a fact, true, yes thing. Sorry, Chrissy boy. But I just noticed Lex Friedman has the widest sideburns ever. And that shit is like a fucking airplane takeoff runway. Shit's like this wide. Oh, hacking and fuck FBI Fridays, LOL. I guess there was a hacking group called something. They had fuck FBI Fridays. They got under the FBI's skin. I think that was fucking hilarious. And they start using generic names like Johnny. He says, I say, don't be mean to Johnny 6969. I'm Plump Log 420 69, and I'm getting blocked by people stealing my fucking property. Like literally stealing my property all fucking day. So don't be mean to the Johnny 6969s out there. You never know who's out there. But fuck FBI Fridays, it is fuck FBI every day here. So again, all of your children actually go to school stealing from you. That actually occurs. And all I've been asking for is, even if you can't publish my paper, which is legally obligated, to give me some fucking money. And the answer is fucking no. So leniency, decency, humanity, the answer is fucking no. And I want that shit to occur. I want the world to fucking change, the tables to fucking turn, people to know what the fuck I've done, and people to say, fuck these people. God. This is the nastiest fucking people ever. But hacking in general, I was curious as hacking. You know, I've been known to download a keylogger or two. I told you the story when I fucked up one of the computers I was really just trying to collect emails and passwords. But I fucked up one of the computers in my high school, and Lori Allmiller, I told her I was trying to spy on my brother, which was kind of true, but I was trying to spy on everybody. But so, yeah, Mr. Grooze? No, that was grade school. But yeah, I remember a sinking feeling going into my, like, it was like a design class. It was like Photoshop. It was like an art class, but we used computers. And I downloaded the keyloggers on the school system. Just feeling pretty hot shot. And I go into class the next day, and my terminal's like caution taped off. And she was like, hey, Brad, we need to talk. And I was just like, oh, fuck. I had to Operation Keylogger at school, and it didn't last too long. But I was always interested as the lulz type of hacker, and I wasn't very good. I wouldn't consider myself a hacker. Basic computer programming skills. And certainly know how to cover my fucking tracks and not do stupid shit, not be sloppy. But again, my criminality on the internet's basic encryption, and it's not complicated at all. But hacking in general, just more so, again, I wouldn't even be like disrupt anything or like hack something for ransom. Again, just as a hypothetical. I would hack things to see if I could get in, but I wouldn't like do anything stealing data. I don't think hacktivism, hacking for the good of the world. I don't think the world's that fucked up. Besides, again, my life personally, in the most anomalistic case ever. But that's really what I think. But I think fuck FBI Fridays is absolutely fucking hilarious. And trust me, fuck FBI every day. When I call you stupid fucks, and some bitch at Cincinnati picks up, and I just tell them, I literally say, tell your senior ups, go fuck themselves. And then I just hang up. But Lex says two-factor authentication is not frictionless. I think it's pretty frictionless. And I type in my password on my computer. It says we're going to send a code to your email. It's right there on my phone. I'm logging in from my phone. A lot of times it will load whatever the code is, the two-factor authentication, directly into the field. Like if you need to put in a 6-digit number or something, I open the Google Authenticator app or whatever on here. Then I think two-factor authentication is pretty frictionless. And don't tell anybody, Mr. Chris Tarbell, I am definitely not somebody with most of my passwords the exact same. I do change them, but they're definitely not all basically the same thing. Seriously, how the fuck are you supposed to remember it? Again, I've been advocating. It is illegal to put peanut butter on a hamburger. It is illegal to have Standardized password requirements. It's the craziest shit ever. Chris demonstrates typical shit behavior. He quote, when you walk out with a gun and a badge and can charge people for a misdemeanor for flying the flag at night. That's awesome. That's powerful. You were a fat fuck that doesn't know how to behave, and you go to summer camp for 6 fucking months. Now you can exert authority, and it's like a prideful, proud, I'm ready to go moment. Those are the people that shouldn't be allowed to do anything with authority ever. But again, that's what the job attracts, is fucking trashy, nasty, trigger-happy lunatics that think they're boys in blue. America, baby. Again, I hate being an American. I don't have constitutional rights to the point where I can't eat, start a career, or have a family. And so that was pretty much the end of the conversation. Or just stuff that stuck out to me. But it was a decent, interesting story, decent talker. Hate the FBI, hate fucking law enforcement in general. As a statement of fact, as a judicial researcher, as a judicial scholar, you guys don't do your jobs, you're insecure, you don't know how to behave, you charge at me with your fucking gun, you jiggle your guns in my house, then you walk past me and say it's just some random officer, and then you say we can do basically whatever we want. Well, stop it. Pay me. Let me fucking leave. Because again, you have an enemy for life. There's nothing, we're not going to worry, the past, the ship already sailed. You guys are fucked. Each day that goes past, you're fucked more. And fuck you and fuck your families. But he talks about again being afraid for his life, and about like walking out the door and not knowing what's going to happen. I have that feeling every single day, and all I do is mathematics and educate people. But again, I offend people for existing. And I have Deputy Robbins jiggling his gun, charging at me on my property at nighttime when I have no idea what the fuck's going on. But I don't care. Like I said, Chris Starbell was scared. If you accept death, and again, I'm a scapegoat. I have been neglected as a child to the point of adulthood. So my acceptance of death has been always. It's like, what do you do if you can't eat and sleep? You die. And what if the way I can't eat and sleep is because I can't socialize. And there was the hardest stop in the entire fucking world from allowing Brad Boas to allow to integrate or socialize with anybody. It's like, okay, I'm gonna die then. So it's like seeing people that again, their lives are just so privileged as a law enforcement officer, being afraid for your life as you have your gun on your hip and a badge and you can enforce the law. I'm scared now. Let's go, please. Disgusting, and it's insanity. And I'm just like, okay, it's just a bunch of kids shitting into their hands, smushing it all over their face, and throwing at each other. I just want to leave. I just want to get my shit and leave, and they won't let me because they won't pay me. So, fuck 12, fuck the FBI. Again, my name is Bradley Bose. I'm being profoundly and extensively tortured. There was nothing I can do. There was nowhere I can go, and there was no one I can call. I'm going to be tortured until the day that I die, and no one gives a single fuck about fucking anything. So. And that's it for today. I've still been playing poker, been on a little down streak. I think my account's at $50, so I've lost about, $30 since I've done my last tournament. That series is about complete. I mean, I can keep talking over games, which I probably will do a couple more, but just, I think 11 tournament playthrough with 4 strategy videos, a good little mini-series or whatever. So on to the book club. I like doing that. Reading out loud is kind of fun and enjoyable, and it's something new for me. So continue trying to grow and evolve when I'm literally maxed out intelligence, not even human intelligence. So thank you for watching. Please stop torturing me if you guys ever learn to behave and continue to raise your children on stolen property. It's a great lesson for the kids. Lie, cheat, steal, lie, cheat, steal, lie, cheat, steal, and say not my fucking problem. So thank you for watching. See you on the next one.